One of the biggest desires that have driven humanity to the very edge of technology and construction, and are some of our greatest achievements as a species, is the desire to build higher and higher buildings. But how did we end up in a world where buildings standing over 100 stories tall is nothing to be surprised about? What were the steps and stages along the way and how technology evolved? All of these questions will be answered in today's video, where we describe the evolution of the world's tallest buildings in the last half-century. Welcome back guys to our channel, where we are back with yet another video just for you guys. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, ring the notification bell too. With that out of the way, let's get into the world's tallest buildings. Everyone can see the appeal of skyscrapers. They are part of a city's image and act as a symbol of humanity's technical brilliance. But did you guys know that the world's tallest building for the longest time was actually the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, and remained among the tallest for quite a long time? But ever since the industrial age, buildings have gotten thinner and more purpose-driven, and with modern technology, they keep getting higher and higher, and so today we'll see how the tallest buildings changed and evolved over the last half-century, starting with 1971, the Empire State Building. Built all the way back in 1930 to 1931, this New York City icon has stood the test of time and remained the world's tallest building for over 40 years, just ending its rule 50 years ago. Built by the Empire State Incorporated, which, like the building, was named after the iconic city, it was a result of groundbreaking engineering and a bustling in the heart of the world's economic capital. And with it reaching 1,250 feet or 381 meters into the air, it earned its spot as one of the most iconic and to this day recognizable buildings on this list. 1971 to 1973 World Trade Center. Another one of New York's most iconic landmarks, this building was not just one, but a complex of 7 different towers, with the most prominent ones being World Trade Center 1 and World Trade Center 2, both standing at 1,368 feet and 1,362 feet or 417 meters and 415.1 meters tall. The buildings, as the name suggests, were designed as trade centers and were built as a result of a booming economy right in the heart of New York's financial district, serving as a tool for siphoning and controlling the economy of the immense city. However, the buildings remained the world's tallest for a short period of time. Soon after their completion in 1971, they were surpassed in 1973 by Chicago's Willis Tower, another American landmark. And of course, we can't go without mentioning the most tragic accident associated with these buildings. The September 11th attacks by terrorist cells ended up destroying the towers in 2002, which were later rebuilt as the One World Trade Center. 1973 to 1998 Willis Tower. Crowning achievement of renowned civil engineer Fazlur Rahman Khan, the Willis Tower took the title of the world's tallest building upon completion in 1973. Standing a mind-numbing 110 stories and 1,450 feet tall, the building surpassed the World Trade Center 1 and took the crown away from New York after they had held it for over half a century. Again, the driving force for its construction was a powerful economic surge characteristic of the period, and the building remains an icon to this day. It remained the tallest in the world for 25 years and the tallest building in the entire Western Hemisphere for over 40 years, until the One World Trade Center took the title in 2013. And even today it is among the top 25 tallest buildings in the world, and the third tallest in all of the Western countries, not too shabby for a building nearing half a century of construction. 1998 to 2004 The Petronas Towers. Although they had a reign lasting only 6 years, the Petronas Towers are some of the most recognizable and important buildings on this list, as they were the first ones to take the title away from the West, being built in the heart of Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. Standing just shy of half a kilometer, the buildings were built by yet again the famous engineer, Fazlur Rahman, and this time he utilized a new tube-in-tube design, allowing for the floral design that makes the towers so iconic. And you guys should be seeing a pattern here, as these towers were built due to the at that time young and quickly growing economy of the area, and are mostly made up of office buildings. Part of the reason why they were so tall is also due to the high density of the South Asian city, and as we mentioned, higher buildings mean more floor space per land. With an architectural height of 1,483 feet or 451 meters, the towers remain the tallest towers of all and to this day the tallest twin towers in the world. 2004 to 2010 Taipei 101. Before we move on to the single tallest building in the world and renowned architectural marvel, we must first take a look at the predecessor that held the title for another 6 years. Also known as the Taipei World Financial Center, this building was the pride of Taiwan's capital after which it was named, and like the previous building, was the consequence of a growing technology-related industry in the region. The building, inspired by traditional Asian architectural styles, stands over half a kilometer tall at 508.2 meters and 1,662 feet, and to this day remains the 10th tallest building in the world, and would have stayed higher if not for China's recent surge in the skyscraper department. 2010, present day, Burj Khalifa. The pride of the Middle East and the jewel of Dubai, standing over 828 meters and 2,717 feet tall. The Burj Khalifa is the world's tallest building, and it's an engineering masterpiece. The keen viewers among you might have noticed that unlike in previous buildings, where the gains each year were usually less than 50 feet, this building killed the competition entirely by exceeding the previous one by over 1,000 feet, and that was possible not only due to Dubai's immense oil money, but by an engineering revolution that changed the industry altogether. As you guys can imagine, one of the biggest issues when making skyscrapers is the wind trying to topple them over, and unlike other ones, which tried by strengthening the structure, the Burj Khalifa engineers chose a different strategy, where the building cut through and dispersed the air instead of facing it head-on, and as a result got the largest lead in history. As for what's to come, since the realization of this principle, it is expected that the decade-long reign of the Burj Khalifa might come to an end soon, with the planned Jeddah Tower supposed to finally reach the 1-kilometer mark. However, when it is finally completed, remains to be seen. Well guys, that was all for today. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and tell us, which do you think was the most beautiful one of these buildings? Do you like the simplicity of the World Trade Centers? Or the modern take on traditional style of Taipei 101? Let us know what you think. With that, it's time to wrap up the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.